Okay, now it's time for our currency of the week, euro dollar, the world's most popular currency pair. It has been moving against the trend. We're seeing a trend of a weaker dollar, not in the euro. The euro has shown some weakness of its own. We'll cover the different aspects, what's moving the euro, what's moving the dollar, and what's next. So I see euro dollar as range bound. All in all, it fell. This is a chart. Well, actually, it's similar levels. This is a snapshot I took earlier, but as you can see, we fell. This is a daily chart. We fell to those lows late in 2016, early in 2017, 103.50. Since then, moving up, but more or less range bound. We haven't broken above that 108.70 high seen in late December, and it's a very, very moderate move to the upside. Okay, so here we are with euro dollar. What's going on? Let's talk about the good things about the European economy. So we'll do the good, bad, and the ugly. So last week we had quite a few figures. Inflation is up to 1.8%. That is within the ECB's mandate. Remember, the European Central Bank, the biggest mover of the euro, always has one mandate, one needle in its compass. That is inflation, headline inflation, not core inflation. So headline inflation should be 2% or a bit below. I would say 1.8 is a bit below. So finally, after a long period of low inflation, they reach their target. Okay, so that's good news. The unemployment rate is lower. So, well, yeah, I live here in Barcelona, Spain, Catalonia, and we're seeing really the economy is picking up, and people have more jobs are offered. Growth is picking up at 0.5% in Q4. Actually, it's even higher than in the United States. Remember, Europe publishes quarter-over-quarter figures, and the United States publishes annualized numbers. Okay. Now let's talk about the bad. Well, core inflation, if you exclude oil prices, it's only 0.9%. So it did move up from 0.8% after 5 consecutive months, but it's not going anywhere fast. Okay, so this tells us that, as the ECB tells us, as this man here, Mario Draghi, tells us, that it's all related to oil prices. Oil prices push inflation lower. Oil prices are pushing inflation higher, and that is it. The unemployment rate, I talked about it as a positive thing, but 9.6% is no fun. It used to be 11, 12, but so things are improving, but it's not that we're on supersonic growth, okay? The ECB, Mario Draghi here, European Central Bank, still dovish. They want sustainability with everything. Sustainable higher inflation, sustainable growth, and a sustainable fall in employment. And something they will not say, they want a weaker euro, which supports higher inflation, which supports exports. And with governments not doing enough, they need a bit more help from a weaker euro. So that weighs on the euro. So we had the good, the bad, and now the ugly. So it's basically politics. Here are some leaders of Europe's extreme right parties. In the middle there, it's Geert Wilders. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's the leader of the Dutch Freedom Party. To his right is Marine Le Pen, the leader of the Front National in France. And there on the left, we have Frauke Petry, the leader of Alternative für Deutschland, the far-right German party. In these three countries, Netherlands first, then France, then Germany, we have elections. And Frexit, French exit from the Eurozone, is an option. So let's look at the European calendar, and it is becoming closer and it is becoming substantial in the movements of the euro. So on March 15th, that's only 5 weeks from now, more or less, we have elections in the Netherlands. So it's not the biggest country in the Eurozone, of course, but it's sort of, it could be the canary in the coal mine. Now, there will be some kind of grand coalition between center-left and center-right parties, and they leave the Freedom Party out. But if they come out as the biggest party, it will certainly be worrying. Okay, They're anti-immigration, anti-establishment, anti-everything. The biggest event is the elections in France, the second largest economy, presidential elections in 2 rounds. These 2 rounds are very important. April 23rd, all the candidates French can vote for any one of all the candidates, and on May 7th, there's a runoff between first and second place, okay? We'll dive into that a bit more. September 24th, elections in Germany. At the moment, a bit far off, but once France is cleared, Germany will come into the spotlight, and opinion polls in Germany already have some impact, okay? Other events, tentative. Here where I'm sitting, there might be a referendum about Catalan independence, official or unofficial, probably unofficial and unbinding. In September, it'll cause a lot of tension. And maybe in Italy, elections, maybe in September, maybe earlier, maybe later. It's an open question. We had in early December 2016, we had a referendum in which Prime Minister at the time, Terenzi, failed to pass. He was rejected. He got only 40% of the vote instead of, well, and 60% against him, which is quite a defeat. So lots of interesting political events in the Eurozone. Specifically France, that's the biggest event. France is a core country. There is no euro without France. You can imagine the euro without Greece, the euro without another relatively small country like Malta, like Latvia. Not trying to offend anybody, but it's hard to see country in the middle of Europe, the second largest economy, the Paris-Berlin axis, the core of the core. If France leaves, there is no euro. Le Pen, here in the picture, she wants a referendum on Frexit. She leads first round polls, okay, but she has something like 25% of the vote, which means there will be a second round. The 2-round system should ensure that we'll have in France another president, but who knows? Who can be the other president? Here we have sort of 3 leading candidates. So center-right candidate, François Fillon, he's on the right, okay? It's the party of Sarkozy, the party earlier of de Gaulle. He was the leading candidate. Sort of, he was a former prime minister, but now he's embroiled in a scandal called Penelope Gate. Basically, he paid his wife to work for him, and she didn't do any work. So that's a scandal in France, or worse scandals in other countries. But anyway, he's in trouble and he's losing ground. That paves the way for the one here in the middle. Emmanuel Macron, former socialist, former minister in current President Hollande's government, and he has rising chances. He's 39 years old, he's charismatic, he's very, very centrist, European. He's currently the leading candidate to meet Le Pen in the second round, and he would be very, very favored by markets, okay? I mean, markets maybe prefer center-right, but he would be the second choice. And the guy here on the left, his name is Benoît Hamon. He is the leader now of the Socialist Party, Socialist center-left, but he took them to the hard left. He wants taxes on robots to reduce the working week. Markets would not like him to win, but if it's Marine Le Pen against, hard left against hard right, well, I guess they would prefer hard left, but who knows? He has much lower chances. It's basically who will get to the second round with Marine Le Pen, either François Fillon, if he recovers, center-right, or centrist Emmanuel Macron, which is currently leading, but everything is very, very close. And opinion polls may not necessarily come out as we expect, as we all know. In Germany, it's a tighter race for a change. Angela Merkel, here on the right, she wants a 4th term. She's considered all over the world as the anchor of stability, soft-spoken, has lots of experience, of course. She's the leader of Germany since 2005. Moves, according to opinion polls, many times. She's not hard right. She's very, very centrist. But for change, she has some challenge from the Socialist Party, from the center-left. This guy here, Martin Schulz, formerly the Speaker of the European Parliament, sort of an outsider. He wasn't in her government like the current leader Sigmar Gabriel, and he's currently leading the polls, okay? But things will change many times. Again, we probably will have a center-left, center-right government, so it's not such a big deal. The bigger deal is Alternative für Deutschland, extreme right party, began only as talking about economics, but now has adopted an anti-migrant sentiment, anti-Euro, anti-establishment. So they won some regional elections, and it is a cause of worry. But at the moment, there is a bigger chance that Le Pen will become president of France than that Alternative für Deutschland, AfD, will have some real power. Okay. Yeah. So, what does it mean for the euro? Okay, we can talk for hours about politics, but we're talking about forex, of course, and we have the euro is becoming more sensitive to political news. That is why the euro is a bit lower in recent days. So moving against the trend, euro dollar is falling, and that is not natural. Okay. I mean, if you look at pound dollar, dollar yen, other currencies. So the euro is becoming more sensitive to political news. We've seen 2016 how politics had a big impact. Brexit, Trump. France, again, is the most important country. Big events are, the elections are at the end of April, beginning of May. But in March, we'll have sort of an indicator from the Netherlands. After May, after the French elections, it's Germany in the focus. But again, Italy could still steal the headline, and also Catalonia here. Outside chance, but you never know. Okay. Talking about euro dollar, we should talk a bit about the dollar as well. Trump, Donald Trump here, does not know if he wants a strong or weak dollar. According to some reports, he called his security advisor, not economics advisor, to ask what is better, and he got a response that it's not the field of expertise. So far, we're seeing Donald disillusion, more trade issues, less fiscal stimulus. Markets do not like that, okay? We've seen the dollar rally hard since the elections, but now there is a setback. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a collapse of the dollar. It's just a slide or a slight disappointment. The full judgment will come after 100 days. It means around the end of April, around the French elections, okay? So also this period of Trump coincides with the French elections. So euro dollar will become very interesting around the end of April. I think it's already interesting. The economy and the Fed, we're talking about everything looks okay. Talked about the non-farm payrolls earlier, growth, but not exciting. Mediocre, steady, boring growth, frustrating. No recession, which is good, but no animal spirits, okay? Politics for now lead. So the Fed reacts to Trump. Economic indicators play second fiddle to Trump. Trump leads, the rest follow in terms of impact on the US dollar. All in all, euro dollar, if we conclude this segment, the chance for parity is probably missed, probably gone. I would blame Trump for that he didn't, he began disappointing even during the transition, but also in his first days. Didn't provide the fiscal stimulus that could have pushed euro dollar to parity, that could have pushed the dollar higher across the board. Okay? On the other hand, we have some political worries pushing the euro down. And of course, the Donald disappointment, full disappointment, we currently have the beginning of it, could push the dollar down. I would say that the downside bias that we had through the end of 2016 and also the beginning of 2017 is gone. Currently, it's quite neutral, waiting for political developments more than anything else, okay? So I find it hard to see euro-dollar parity. I would say neutral is the current situation. Let's look at the chart to conclude this special segment about euro-dollar. Let's zoom out to the daily chart to get the bigger picture. So, currently 106.80 at the time of the show, 107.10, 107.75, 108.30, the 2017 high so far, which is not that far from where we are, 108.70. Above that, we have, of course, the round number of 110 and 113, the level we've seen on election night in the US. Looking down, we have 105.90, 105.20, 104.50. It replaces the veteran 104.60 line, and then 103.50. If I'm totally wrong and we do have an assault on parity, the only line between the recent low of 103.50 and parity is 101.50, a line from 2002. Yes, that was 15 years ago. Okay, so these are the lines to watch on euro-dollar. Came quite a way, currently bounced off, if you look at the bigger picture, bounced off low levels. Okay.